You know, you look up almost any night, and there it is, our silent, glowing companion. But what if I told you that without that familiar rock in the sky, life on Earth, well, it probably wouldn't even exist? The moon is so much more than a light. It's our planet's unseen anchor. And we're about to find out exactly why.
Okay, so to really get a feel for how important the moon is, let's just start with a little thought experiment. Imagine, for a second, waking up one morning and something just feels fundamentally wrong with the world.
Which brings us to the big question, right? What if the moon just vanished? Poof, gone. The consequences? They would be immediate, and frankly, they would be catastrophic.
The very first thing you'd notice would be the oceans. See, the moon's gravity is the main driver of our tides. Without it, those tides would shrink by a whopping 75%. That would absolutely devastate coastal ecosystems, threatening countless species like crabs and mussels that literally live and die by that rhythm. And it's not just the oceans. The entire day would feel off. For billions of years, the moon's gravity has been acting like a brake, slowing down our planet's spin. Take that brake away, and Earth starts speeding up again. And get this, way back in its early history, a day on Earth was only about 4 hours long. Yeah, 4 hours. That's the direction we'd be heading back towards. So you could say goodbye to our nice, comfortable 24-hour cycle.
And here's a really big one, the climate. Those tides aren't just for splashing around on the beach. They are giant engines driving massive ocean currents that mix cold water from the poles with warm water from the tropics. Without that constant mixing, our global temperatures would swing into these insane, life-threatening extremes. Weather forecasting? Forget about it. It would be total chaos.
Okay, so we've established it would be a complete disaster. But why? Let's dig into the why. What makes this big rock in our sky so absolutely essential for keeping Earth a stable, livable planet?
You know, maybe the moon's most important job is acting as a gravitational anchor. It holds Earth's axis steady at that nice, stable 23.5-degree tilt. That's what gives us our predictable seasons. But without the moon, our planet would start to wobble like a top that's about to fall over. I'm talking a chaotic wobble, anywhere from 10 to 45 degrees. And to put that into perspective, scientists think a shift of just one single degree might have been enough to kick off past ice ages. A 45-degree tilt would change everything.
So when you put it all together, it's pretty clear, isn't it? The moon gives us the stability that life needs to really thrive. It's the reason we have a stable climate, predictable tides, seasons we can actually live through, and a day that's long enough for life to get a foothold. It is, without a doubt, the planet's ultimate stabilizer.
So, where did this incredible partner of ours even come from? Well, the origin story isn't some gentle, quiet tale. Nope. It's a story of a violent, cosmic collision that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. The leading theory today is called the giant impact hypothesis, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The idea is that our moon was born from a massive smash-up between a baby Earth and another early planet, something about the size of Mars. And scientists have even given this mysterious rogue planet a name, Theia. So try to picture this. It's about 4.5 billion years ago. Earth is just a young, molten ball of rock. And then, bam, this Mars-sized planet, Theia, comes screaming in and slams right into it. The impact is so huge it vaporizes rock and metal, throwing this enormous cloud of super hot debris into orbit. For a while, Earth actually had a ring system, just like Saturn. And then, over millions of years, gravity just did its thing, slowly pulling all that rubble together until it formed the moon we see today. And we have some pretty solid evidence for this theory. One of the biggest clues is actually deep inside the moon itself. See, it has a really small iron core for its size. So what's the explanation? Well, the theory goes that after that massive collision, Theia's super dense iron core just merged with Earth's core. That left only the lighter, rocky stuff floating in orbit, which is exactly what our moon is made of. And the proof is literally written in the rocks. When the Apollo astronauts brought back samples from the moon, scientists ran the tests, and what they found was amazing. The chemical fingerprints, we're talking things like oxygen and titanium isotope ratios, they were a nearly perfect match to rocks here on Earth. It's basically like a planetary DNA test, and it confirms that the Earth and the moon are cut from the same cloth.
But, long before we knew any of the science about its violent birth, people just looked up. For thousands of years, the moon was a guide, a calendar, a source of wonder. And some of the very first people to study it with real scientific rigor were the great scholars of the Arab world.
I mean, think about these brilliant minds. You had Al-Biruni, who figured out that the moon shines because it reflects sunlight, and he connected it to the ocean's tides. Just incredible. Then there was al-Battani, who made these super detailed studies of eclipses, and Abu al-Wafa al-Buzjani. His observations were so precise that he actually discovered tiny little wobbles in the moon's orbit. And get this, they did all of this without a single telescope.
And that's what's so powerful about this history. This wasn't just, collecting fun facts about the sky. This was essential, foundational work. As this quote points out, these early studies were basically paving the way for later giants like Isaac Newton to come along and figure out the fundamental laws of the universe, like gravity itself.
And that deep connection, it's woven right into the fabric of culture and faith. The Islamic calendar, for instance, is a purely lunar calendar. That means its months are marked by the phases of the moon. For centuries, this has set the rhythm of life, from holy days to major festivals, for more than 1 billion people around the world.
So, when you look at the whole picture, from its incredibly violent birth to its quiet, calming presence in our sky, you realize something. The moon's story isn't separate from ours. It's completely tangled up with it.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The moon is so much more than just a pretty light in the night sky. It's the anchor that keeps our planet from tumbling through space. It's the engine that stirs our oceans. And ultimately, it's one of the key reasons we have a world where life could take hold in the first place.
But the story, believe it or not, isn't over. Our faithful anchor is actually very, very slowly letting go. It's almost impossible to notice, but every single year the moon drifts about 4 centimeters farther away from Earth.
Now look, that's not going to affect any of us in our lifetimes, or even in the next few thousand years. But it does leave us with one last fascinating question to ponder. As our constant companion continues its long, slow goodbye, what does its future, and by extension, our own very distant future, really hold?